Yeah, what's new? Hello, I am the Ronin Pawn, and this is Pawntucky. No, this is NationStates, and that's it's Pawntucky, but it's in NationStates. I'm confused because I haven't played it in like a month or so, however long it takes for NationStates to email you and say, hey, we're gonna kick you out if you don't come play. And clearly someone else has been tinkering with my nation because my economy is fragile and my political freedoms are some, and that is not how I keep things around here. Hey, average income is up since last I looked at it, a month and a half ago. 32,039 beers! Lovely! With the 77.3% tax rate. Now that is just the way that I left it. Colonial Testimonial is the Ishonial that will be Ansronial. No, don't do that. After Pawntucky recently acquired its very own colony, tensions have been running high as to how the events leading up to this should be portrayed in the history books, both in Slushfundia and its newfound overseas territory. Well, they're part of the Rogue Nation now, so it only makes sense that we share one account of history, says Severus Snape. Snape? It's Snape. I didn't mean to be racist. A Pawntuckian native vacationing in the newly annexed territory while adjusting his khakis and brand new pith helmet. Pit? You need to stop using that word because I don't know how to say it. And that account should obviously be the glorious tale of how Pawntucky heroically ended their age of barbarism and brought the shining beacon of civilization to its heathen populace. That is, after all, more or less what happened, right? Everybody agrees with me, right? Stating otherwise would be nothing short of provincial bigotry due to wounded pride. Also, stating wise would be nothing short of provincial bigotry due to wounded pride. It's a matter of pride, yes, but foremost of historical accuracy, asserts Sophie Navratillones, a former guerrilla who somehow miraculously survived your massive counterinsurgency. Mine? I did nothing. I've been drinking beers. We must teach the children, both in Pawntucky and here, about what actually happened. History is supposed to be about the facts. It should educate, not propagate imperialist dogma, and effectively teach our kids to be ashamed of their home and whitewash all your war crimes. What? Should it effectively teach our kids to be ashamed of the... Oh, right, because you're talking from your perspective. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit egotistical. Makeup? Let the history books tell the horrible truth and brand all Pawntuckian oppressors as the monsters they truly are. Especially you, Ronin Pawn. Me? I've just been drinking beers. Look, we're not going to agree on this anytime soon, so why not make both sides happy, suggests Bajrakabitishapa Tolkien, cultural anthropologist and author of the academically acclaimed book, Can We Please Just Respect Everyone and Everything All the Time? Pawntucky doesn't... You don't have the internet, do you? Bajrakita Yaba. Pawntucky doesn't want to be remembered as the brutal oppressor, and our new, friends don't want their hardships swept under the rug. So let's each territory have their own version of history. What could possibly go wrong? Now, as a dictator, I am not against people knowing that they should fear me. So go ahead and write those history books saying that I'm a brutal... We didn't brutally oppress. I don't know what they're talking about. We went in, it was counterinsurgency. She just said counterinsurgency. They came at me, bro, and I've been lifting, so I brought it back. School history books often refer to Ronin Pawn as that imperialist pig dog. Me personally? Imperialist pig dog. It's got a certain ring. Pawntucky's political freedoms rose from some to below average. We're getting better at our political freedoms. We're winning international attention in the good kind by calling me an imperialist pig dog. Really, that's what I had to do all along. Jesus, I don't know how it never occurred to me. This government is more trustworthy than ever before, survey says, about the pig dog scum running. I'm still in charge, Oh no, the blood banks are running dry. How am I ever going to get the vampires to vote for my upcoming legislation? A violent and rather messy stampede of house mice during a parade in your honor, the pig dog, has brought widespread media attention to the shortage of blood. If you run that backwards, I say something really randy. Blood donation should be compulsory, argues Stan Picard, while stabbing a man in the throat. A spokesperson for the Pawtucket Blood Donors Association. We can't expect citizens to come flocking to donate blood just out of the goodness of their hearts. So the government should take them by the veins. Take the matter into their own hands. If we could maybe require healthy citizens to, let's say, donate blood every 3 months, we wouldn't have such a problem with shortages. It'll require more funding to organize and carry out, yes, but your people are worth it. Aren't they? He may be with the vampires on this one. Don't listen to that devil worshiper, preaches Ash Weber, a Jehovah's Witness. Are we actually going to be that specific? We're just going to talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses now. You're not going to create like a fake group of worshipers like you did with the Violetists. We're just going to go with the Jehovah's. Okay. It isn't up to us to decide what should be done. It is God and only God who decides what someone should do with their blood. God and the pig dog. I'd rather die clean and go to heaven, thank you very much. We must heed this gospel and bad blood donations now. Of course, some people will die, but they will be rewarded in the afterlife for obeying his word. Actually, Ash Weber, Jehovah's Witness, might be the vampire. You're kidding, right? Burbles anemic patient Faith DeCastro from a hospital bed. Oh, I'm not going to let some closed-minded priest tell me what I can and can't do with my blood. But I thought he was ill. Viva la Cuba! But I don't think people should be forced to give blood. They just need incentive, that's all. Like money. Trust me, any kind of Beers for Blood scheme will have them almost begging to donate. I don't know if that's the most healthy policy we could initiate here. Thank you for your blood donation, ma'am. Oh, don't forget your prize. It's the only humane way to ensure that people like me are getting the care we need. If you're worried about funding, just get it from those religious nuts. They're not helping anyone with it. So charge the church for the money in order to buy cases of beer for blood donors. Walking out with I got half a liter left. Ooh, brewski. Yeah, I'll take one. I have an even better idea, says Carl Lannister, a prison officer. How about we get the pig dog a lozenge? I have an even better idea, says Carl Lannister, a prison officer. How about we force every healthy prisoner to donate blood? It's about time they gave back to society what they've taken away in the first place. If we do this, we won't have to beg the law-abiding citizens of Pawtucket to take time out of their day to give blood. It's not like these thugs are really doing anything for us. So missing a pint or 3 won't matter, am I right? I don't hate the idea, because it costs a lot of money to organize the public and create laws that demand healthy people come. That's a lot of work and quite just, upsetting to the economy. You're gonna have to be late to work once every 3 months. And by the way, if we do enact the Beers for Blood policy, I think you should just call it a day. Whereas we've got a prison population who's there, who's ready, who's being fed 3 meals a day, and we know there's nothing wrong with prison blood versus anything else, and we can test in the prisons to make sure they've got clean blood and stuff. I like this idea. I am on board with that. Why don't we do that in reality? Are there reasons? I'm about to find out when I read this. Jails have become colloquially known as vampire houses. Pawtucket's civil rights fell from excellent to very good. My civil rights fell? For prisoners? For demanding that they... It's not like, what's the big deal? It's not a civil right. It's like you're already imprisoned. Your civil rights are on hold for a minute. Give me your blood. Clothing retailers look forward to bumper season. Family groups applaud return of decency. 12-page sports lift out inside. Tourism industry braces for influx. Just. I'm surprised there wasn't an honest-to-God vampire contingent. You would have expected a character description of a fellow with baggy eyes, pale skin, and long teeth to be arguing for something there. Oh, but that's okay, we're about to talk about marriage, which involves lawyers, and so the vampires are coming. Marriage by proxy server. After an online petition that would allow people to be legally married over the internet reached over 1 million signatures last night, you awake to find your inbox inundated with emails and a crowd of petitioners waiting inside your office, all demanding you take action. If they were demanding that, I can definitely answer. The internet is the only social life some of us have, insists petitioner Warwick Meyer. I know your plight oh so well. Whose My Face profile says he is 6 foot tall, good looking, and a popular country singer. Hey ladies, if I meet the love of my life online, we should be able to get married. It's not fair that I have to be single my entire life just because my soulmate lives on the other side of the country and my mother won't give me the money for a bus ticket. That is not fair. Oh, that's a terrible idea, chides your nettling aunt. You have to be careful on the internet. You never know if the people you're talking to really are who they say they are. Why, just the other day, I was being courted by this youthful hunk of a gentleman on Matchmakers. But when we finally met in person, the scoundrel was as old and flabby as me. It just goes to show that some things like dating and marriage should only be done offline and in person. Would you like some candy from this strangely textured dish? Preposterous! Who wants a human husband or wife anyway? All they do is nag, lounge about, and lie all the time. Rebuffs IT specialist Trinity Tron from under your desk. As she... Oh no, you can stay under there. Upgrades your Wi-Fi router. Oh, is that what we're calling it, Trin? Trintron! It's Trintron for short, and she's buffing my router. That's not even what we really need are artificial mates who truly understand us and can fulfill our every desire. You got it, hon. Let's stick with you. You should just transfer funds from all those worthless welfare programs and into the tech industry so we can finally have the perfectly programmed partners we preserve. Potentially. Well, pin my tail and call me a donkey. Y'all need to get out more, cracks redneck plumber Larry Cableman from your private bathroom as he snakes a drain. Listen, I already got Trintron under the desk. I don't need anything. It ain't healthy to be spending all the time on the pewter. You ought to just disconnect the whole gosh darn internet so all these idiots can get a real job like plumbing. That's just funny. I don't care who you are. Especially if you're like a Midwestern guy who put on a whole I'm a Southern hick thing as a joke and then took it to the point where, like, you're now anti-Muslim? Lair? Okay, so I need to consider this from a lawmaker's perspective, from a running a government perspective. And from a running a government perspective, marriage is a legal contract binding two people and, more importantly, costs money. So it costs money to get a marriage certificate. It also costs money to then divorce, okay? Don't see where the downside is in letting people marry online. Click a button and boom, you're off. Many marriages go virtually unconsummated. Ballet troupe falls on hard times. Pawtucket more chill than ever before. Teen builds working deep space exploration rocket. Sunscreen sales grow. This teen, by the way, like 4 or 5 kids before you did it, man. Just, do something else. Cure polio or something with your big brain. Ooh, recreational drug use is up, so says the pineapple fondness rating. Do drug users favor pineapples? Because I could use some pineapples right now that you mention it. A shot in the arm! And you're to blame. Ronan Pawn gives YouTube a bad name. The dreaded rubellin measles has made a sudden comeback in Pawtucket. The disease, which once killed millions, was thought to be wiped out after a vaccine was discovered 50 years ago. Medical professionals blame a recent anti-vaccination movement, which has turned immunization into a political football. I'm not going to allow my babies to become slaves to Big Pharma, bemoans parent and prominent anti-vaxxer Dorothy Hester. Did you know that vaccines can cause autism and stunt a child's development? I heard it in my Twitter feed. It must be true. I could show you several studies that say so. These pharmaceutical companies are even putting nanobots in their vaccines. Nanobots! It is the right of every parent to determine what is best for their children. That's what the teens should be making. Nanobots! In our vaccines. Also, can you see if you can make them cause autism? Please, these so-called studies are nothing but hokum, counters your physician, Dr. Jake Patton, while checking your heartbeat with a stethoscope. There's a woman under the desk and a guy in the bathroom, so just be careful. Vaccines save lives every single day. If it weren't for vaccines, rubella and measles would have killed off half of Pawtucket's population by now. There is absolutely no correlation between autism and vaccinations. Any scientist or doctor worth their degree will tell you that. If anything, we should make vaccinations mandatory for the health and well-being of Pawtucketans across the nation. The doctor snaps on a rubber glove. Now let's hurry this up. Cough, please. I don't know. You know what? I don't think there's room under the desk with Trintron down there. I agree, but we also need to send a message to these awful anti-vaxxer parents, states child psychologist Natalia Wang. Not even gonna touch it. I mean, later I will. God. Not only are these parents putting their children in danger by refusing to vaccinate them, they are putting all of society in danger. Do you really want to have an outbreak of rubella and measles in Pawtucke's schools and daycares? I didn't think so. I recommend giving these parents a short jail sentence and banning their children from education until they're vaccinated. Sure, some people will complain about this being a violation of their rights as parents, but surely the health and safety of children trumps those concerns. If you're gonna say sure and surely in the same sentence, you might not want to put a question mark on the end of it, hon. You know, we wouldn't have these problems if the population was more scientifically aware, muses amateur scientist Warwick Cullen while pouring a vial of green liquid into a vial of purple liquid. That's gonna give you a brown liquid, I think. Talk to the guy with the snake in the bathroom. He can gift you brown liquid a lot easier. Movements like these are bred from ignorance and misinformation. If the government took an active role in promoting science and education, this problem would go away. You could invest in real scientific studies and programs, make science classes mandatory in schools, and arrest any religious nuts who attempt to disrupt our work. Pawtucket would enter a new golden age. The vials of liquid suddenly explode, covering your office with smoke in unusually colored foam. Brown, right? Brown. Larry? Well, I'm definitely not going to ban vaccines. Pretty sure they're responsible for saving more lives than have ever been taken by even the likes of Thomas Midgley Jr. We're replacing, Stalin and Hitler with someone far more deadly. The only way that vaccinations work and that we have actually been able to get rid of, prolific diseases that used to account for millions of deaths per year are by what's called herd resistance. That's where you have cows and they start chopping off the heads of the aristocracy. Weakened immune systems, kids who have HIV, people who the only way that they have a chance in hell of surviving is if everyone around them is already vaccinated. Because if they catch it, it's deadly. If you catch it, it's inconvenient. So as creepy and spooky as it absolutely is, I agree, to give the government the power to say everyone has to be vaccinated or else, you gotta go there. You gotta trust your government. And if you can't trust your government, it's time to get yourself a shotgun, right, Larry? And I could even argue for throwing parents in jail who intentionally go out of their way to not have their children vaccinated because you are creating a threat to everyone around you by doing so. God, it's bad. It's a bad decision to have to make. As for making everyone more scientifically aware, yeah, that'd be great and everything, but I'm not going to demand that people live a certain lifestyle and study certain things. I'm certainly not going to arrest religious nuts who attempt to disrupt your work. Sorry, buddy. And here's the thing that makes this really awful, because some kids are almost certainly guaranteed to die from being vaccinated. Sorry to say that out loud, but it's true. Not necessarily because of the vaccine that they received, but because their immune systems were already weakened and nobody knew, and then you inject them with a weakened form of something, and then it gets them hard, and then they die. And so it's like, that that's going to happen. On a statistical level, if it takes more than a year, give it a number of years, someone's going to die because of the vaccinations, and yet you're mandating it. And, it kind of comes down to the same argument as seatbelts. Some people die because they wore the seatbelt. But you gotta make decisions on a national level, on a societal level, and we as a nation have apparently come to the agreement that, the benefit of seatbelts in most situations outweighs the deficit of the rare situation where somebody dies or is unnecessarily injured by wearing it. So we mandate it, and if you don't wear it, we fine you. And in my country, if you do not have your children vaccinated, your children cannot attend public schools, and 2, you go into jail, for a couple of days or something, just to scare them straight. Parents who refuse to vaccinate their children are given a short jail sentence. Virtuous government provides moral guidance. Football, the hearing review. Family groups applaud return of decency. School bans chess as too confrontational. I'm a little put off by the fact that I keep getting that family groups applaud return of decency, because I feel like that's like a wink and a nod to, yeah. Thatcher's government is back in office. Conservatism, yay. Oh yeah, nudity and civil rights and obesity fell? By almost a full point? What's in the vaccines again? Autism? I mean, when you're making these kind of decisions, it's really hard, because it's like any single life has value, and how can the government, mandate that some people die when they know some people are going to die, and that sort of thing. And honestly, it's a question of faith. Oh! Boom! Right over there! Infighting between major religious groups over which faith should represent Pawtucket in an international exhibition of holy relics escalated to a new high today after the latest incident in which one official received a concussion from a sacred healing. He would have got a confession from a sacred healing stone. That's into the insane asylum. All of the religious leaders are at last united in demanding you choose a national religion. Great. If you would grant us this one small mercy, we would all be free from the iniquitous sin of envy, says Angus Chavez, nervously rubbing. Don't want to know what you're nervously rubbing. One's faith is one's guiding light after all, and I believe if you choose a national religion, well, mine anyway, that God will smile upon this nation full of heathens a little more kindly. I don't believe choosing one faith from the thousands out there is very fair, says Erica Jackson, author of the critically acclaimed Agnosticism and You. Which God do we pick? How do we pick? It's impossible. We don't even know if higher beings exist, and it's sheer arrogance to postulate otherwise. The government should officially declare that Pawtucket has... Getting near the end of the episode now. Lips are failing. Pawtucket has no official religion, because the alternative would be self-damning. Not that we know that for sure, of course. Agnostic. Make up your mind. Oh, for chaos's sake. I don't know this, I don't know that. Well, of course you don't, shouts Judas Pound, president of the Secular Humanist and Atheist Society. But some of us have the guts to look at the available evidence and try to make something out of it. If the government has any brains or guts of its own, it will reach the same conclusion that I and millions of other forward-looking people have already reached. There is no God. There is no God, no afterlife, and that's all there is to it. The only God this nation needs is the vengeful and unforgiving Violet, screams Palutena Wiener, Grand High Poobah of the Order of Violet. May her tentacles forever secrete slime. Embrace Violetism, and we will usher in a new age of darkness across the land. Human sacrifice and death to all heretics and unbelievers. Violet is the only way. Are you sure this whole religion isn't just a typo? And what you meant was violence? Seems to be more your thing. The only deity this country needs is the one it already has, Master. Says Emmanuel Syme, I like the way you're going. One of your creepier advisors, well, obsequiously bowing on the floor. I, of course, refer to you, Ronan Paul, the finest ruler any humble subject could hope to have. We long to worship you and do your bidding, Lord. Some call that a cult of personality, but I prefer to call it love. Would you make room under the desk here for Emmanuel? The Pawtuckian government respects all religions equally in that we respect none of you at all by taking no position on the matter whatsoever. Also, science, piss off. Stop putting autism in our vaccines. The government has declined to declare any particular religion as its official one. Civil rights activists, now we're getting somewhere, which is nowhere because the government did nothing today. Tourism industry discounts benefit locals. Trout farming, how to get started. Naked people protesting something again. Hurrah! Believe in religious tolerance? I do! Do I? I mean, as long as you believe in Buddhism and universal consciousness like I do, then I will tolerate you all over the place. I am the Ronan Paul. How do I do this with the new outro banner? I guess I'll put the link to the next video over there. Is that it? Is this kind of like ham-fisted? Pull on out.